So when I was researching the lymphatic system, what I realized is it's very complicated and there is a lot of information. So I'm going to give you a very brief overview today because I could literally talk to you for a whole day about the lymphatic system. So what is really the fundamental thing to learn about the lymphatic system is there are three functions. So our lymphatic function is, first of all, the big heavy hitter of our immune system. If there's any nasties in the body, it's our lymphatic system that activates, clears it, and helps us heal. The lymphatic system also plays a huge role in fluid levels in the body. And most of us are probably interested in this workshop because we don't like extra fluid in the body, puffiness in the eyes, puffiness in the face, and of course, aesthetically, celluli or any holding anywhere else in the body. So the third function is it is also basically the counterpart to the circulatory system. So everything that the blood system is able to do, move hormones, transport nutrients through the body, the lymphatic system counteracts that. So if there's any product in excess in the body, the lymphatic system comes along, supporting the circulatory system and pulls it out, takes it to the relevant detox organs. So what I didn't actually realize until I started to research this workshop is the really intricate link that our lymphatic system has to our circulatory system. And this is why principles like, we've all heard of body brushing. I mean, I've got one, I haven't used it, but it's a nice theory. That is the way that we actually start to stimulate our lymphatic system because it's very close to the surface. And as we use that brush, what that is actually stimulating is not the lymphatic system itself. It's stimulating our hairs, stimulating the hair follicle, and the muscle that causes your hair follicle to stand on end gets stimulated by that brush. So when the muscle is stimulated, blood flow is increased, which means then and only then the lymphatic system starts to move. So also, unlike the circulatory system, the lymphatic system doesn't have a pump. Our blood is pumped around the body with our heart. So our lymphatic system can't actually move itself. It relies on muscular contraction of the body, and it also relies on us manually moving it. So this is what we're going to learn about today, how to manually move the lymphatic system. And I'm also, again, just peppering some information here. I know that we've got a couple of therapists, a couple of bodywork practitioners here, and a couple of people who are interested. So if you are interested in treating your body yourself, I want you to start noticing in your body, when I'm treating one thing, for example, the head, I want to help with headaches. Is there anywhere else in your body that looks kind of similar? So the first place that we're going to start to stimulate for our lymphatic system is right here. So we're coming right at the junction between your collarbone and this big piece of tissue here called sternocleidomastoid. You're naturally going to fall into a little bit of a dip. Perfect. At this point, everybody needs to get their collarbones out. So we're going to use our non-dexterous finger. We're going to use our ring finger. Just pop that into that little hollow. And we're just going to start to pump. Now we're going to be here for a while, so I'm just going to talk at you. So it's that non-dexterous finger, which means it's the one that you can't go really hard with. We're just going to start to pump into the collarbones. So again, I'm going to offer up this analogy, keep pumping. Where else looks a bit like this in your body? And I'm going to alert you to the web here between your thumb and your first finger. This in reflexology is used to treat exactly this. And also people who are familiar with the feet, the junction between your big toe and your index toe, which is your second toe. So anywhere that you see this kind of mass, you're treating here. So this is your subclavian vein. We're pumping here for a long time, so I'm just going to keep talking at you. You'll notice here that you might actually need to start swallowing. You might need to clear your throat. This is us starting to move fluid in the body. Keep pumping, we're still going. So everything from your left-hand side of the body is going to pump into this left-hand side subclavian vein. Everything on the right, being your right arm and the head, pumps into the right. So the lymphatic system is not a balanced system in the body. And if you have problem in your left wrist, that is treated by the left side of the body. Whereas if you have a problem in the head, puffiness in the head, we need to treat that right subclavian vein. So we're just going to keep pumping here. Perfect. Keep breathing. You might need to clear your throat a couple of times. Great. We're going to change it up ever so slightly. So now you're going to bring your fingertips and you're going to use 4 fingers here, squeeze them together and protect your thumbs. Just get your thumb out of the way. We're just going to start to pull our hands down sternocleidomastoid, which is this big piece of tissue here. So that's the move. You're just going to start to pull it down. Perfect. So we're starting to stimulate the lymphatic flow, and I want you to start to go so tenderly and gently here. Perfect. Also, what's really interesting about the lymphatic system is it only starts to work when we are in the parasympathetic part of our nervous system. What does that mean? We have 2 sides to our nervous system. One is all about getting us ready for action, fighting, flighting, and freezing, or if you're me, standing up in front of loads of people and talking about the lymphatic system. My parasympathetic nervous system is not activated right now. If you guys are getting ready to bed, you're ready to sleep, you are in, hopefully, that state of rest and digest. So you want to be feather-light touch, so you can really reaffirm to the body that it is safe in your nervous system and it's safe for your lymphatic system to start floating and cooling down. Perfect. We're going to start to move ourselves a little bit higher up now. So I want everyone to do live long and prosper hands. This is very difficult to do. So you're going to bring your index finger and your middle finger together. You're going to come around the ears. So you want to get that web of the fingertips around the ears. Go on both sides if you can. I know it's tricky. We have so many lymph nodes around the ears. If anyone's ever had tonsillitis, ever had a sore throat, you'll notice that this part of the throat gets super inflamed. Keep going. We'll be doing this routine for a little while, so I'm just going to throw information at you. So what are lymph nodes? Lymph nodes are basically security checks within the lymphatic system. So it's within these nodes that there is a filtration system of everything coming in and out of the bloodstream. And this is where, if there are any nasties starting to lurk in the body, in the bloodstream, the lymphatic system gets activated. That is when you can start to feel that swelling. Perfect. Hopefully you might need to be clearing your throat a little bit here. You might even feel like your mouth is welling up with water. That is this indicator that you're starting to move some lymph fluid. Perfect. We're going to change the technique now. So we're going to come down the back of the neck. Your fingertips are really softly and gently just going to move your fingertips down the back of the neck. Perfect. You can kind of let those elbows go a little bit softer. And as we start to get used to this really gentle pressure, I want you to start trying to sensitize your fingertips. So not only are we just running our hands down, but I actually want you to start feeling for any stagnation, feeling for any, it almost feels like the skin is like pulling. So that is an indicator that you've hit a little bit of stagnation. So really maybe even close down the eyes and start to get a bit more sensitized to how your body feels. Now, most of us have neck tension. Most of us are staring at the computer screen a lot of the day. So actually, anytime we start to fall into this terrible 21st century posture, we're actually not only creating tension in the body, but we're impeding lymphatic flow. So oftentimes where you're feeling tightness, there's also going to be a bit of lymphatic stagnation. Great. We're just going to keep this going for a little bit longer. We're going to come back the way we came. So we're going to come back around the ears. So find your live long and prosper hands. It's so tricky. Bring them onto your face and then start to move up and down. And this is, if you can take anything away from this workshop, this is going to be the best couple of moves that you can add into your daily routine to keep lymphatic flow going, keeping everything moving. Perfect. Let's come back to where we were. So now we're onto sternocleidomastoid, this tight piece of tissue around the neck. And again, feather-like touch, really feather-like touch. We're just introducing this flow, this feeling to the body. And maybe just noticing here, as you're starting to sensitize the fingertips, Can I feel a little bit of resistance anywhere? Does it feel almost like my fingertips start to drag? And then again, you're starting to identify where there is a little bit of lymphatic flow. Perfect, really nice. Coming back now to those collarbones. So you're finding that little nick right between that big piece of tissue we found and the collarbone itself, placing that ring finger in. It's not a lot of pressure. We just start to take those digs down and down. Nice. So it's almost like you're pumping. And these, of course, keep going. I'm talking at you. This is where all of our blood starts to come back towards the heart to get repumped around the whole body. So this is where the lymphatic system also comes in, drains, and it drains everything that it's picked up into the bloodstream so it can get dumped into kidneys, so it can get dumped into liver and taken out. Let's take a couple more little pumps here. Breathing in, really slow and gentle. Hopefully you're starting to feel that soothing effect. It can become quite meditative. Lovely, and letting it go. Now we are going to come back onto the face, but I also want to take you a little bit lower to the very sexy armpit. So the lymphatic flow goes from the left-hand side to the right-hand side. So we're going to first of all address our left armpit. And the reason I want to first of all celebrate the armpit is, as females, we've got a lot of stuff going on here. Oftentimes breast issues, breast cancer, it comes into these lymph nodes here. So fundamentally, it's really important for us to start to learn how to feel our body. What we're going to try and find is a scooping action up the armpit. Oftentimes, if you are quite estrogen dominant, if there's a lot of excess hormones, they can cause the lymph nodes to swell up and around here. So if anyone is coming towards the luteal phase of their cycle, Shark Week, PMS week, you might actually feel some inflammation in those lymph nodes, which is indicative that there might be a little bit of an overproduction of hormones. So keep just finding it's like a wave, like a scoop. And for some of us, we might start to feel a little bit of dragging. So you can just palpate. So really gently run those fingers onto the armpits. Keep going. We'll be here for a little longer. So again, I just want to introduce this idea of finding bits of the body that look similar to what you're trying to deal with. And if we use that mirroring image, where else do we have two mounds of flesh and a ball and socket joint? Around our bum. So actually, you can use this whole area to treat any problems in the glutes, in the hamstrings, and what else? If you're struggling with cellulite, this part of the body, lymphatic flow here, is mirrored in the back of the hamstrings. We're going to change to the other side now. So we're moving that tissue, finding that lymphatic flow. Perfect. And then just notice again, how does this feel? I want you to really come away from this workshop feeling as though you have a little bit more awareness into your fingertips. And for me, I've got a little bit of a blockage here. It just feels like the tissue quality, it goes from being quite spongy and soft to quite hard. So you can just palpate. So just really gently pushing onto the tissue. Again, if we're draining that right side of the body, into that right armpit, this also is going to help drain the head. So if you're worried that you're getting a little bit of facial puffiness, go ahead and get stuck in. Great. Perfect. Let's just take a couple more. Don't be afraid of getting almost towards the boob area. And we just start to explore this area. It's really important as women that we know how to touch our bodies and we know how normal feels for us. It's going to be different for everybody else. And again, just to reiterate, the left-hand side, if you treat this area, treats the whole body. The right-hand side treats the right arm and the head. Perfect. Let's just give our shoulders a little bit of a roll now. Roll them down. Again, moving into that upper body is going to help with lymphatic flow. And let's go ahead and find a little bit of product. So whatever it is that you're using, you don't want too much. We just want something to help the fingertips glide. And we will get into a bit more of a beauty treatment. But right now, I want you to really focus on this soft feather-like flow. So just bring your hands together. My favorite way to add product to your face, we're going to find our chi connection. So I want you to start rubbing your hands together, create a little bit of heat. Don't know if anyone else is feeling a bit wonky because of this moon. So we're just going to tune into our energy levels. I see the nodding. Great. Okay, we've all got the moon. The moon's taking everyone a bit wild. So really create some heat in your hands and then just hold your fingertips away from each other. Again, if this is your first time doing this kind of slightly woo stuff, I really want you to close your eyes and just notice, what do you feel? So you're in the driver's seat of your treatment today. So you have to be really conscious and curious about how it feels to touch and be with and be in your body. Hopefully you can kind of feel a whizzing, a whirring, an energetic force, maybe just starting to play with it, move it. If you're knackered, you won't feel too much. If you're feeling a bit wired with this moon, it might be quite powerful. So I want you to really tenderly bring that energy that you're cultivating between your hands, hover it off the face. So we're not touching the face right now, you're just hovering it. So here we've got the intention to heal, the intention to nurture, not only the face, but the whole body. So take a big breath in, breathing in this energetic force. And then just start to wipe your product all over your face and all over the neck. So we're going to use quite a lot of lymphatic drainage around the neck. Hopefully if anyone's tight here, that will help quite a lot. Perfect. Giving it a big rub. Fantastic. We're going to come back to where we started. So I want everyone to find your collarbone. Simple. We're simply going to drag our hands down our collarbone to where we found that subclavicular vein. So we're pulling our hands down the collarbone. Again, I want you to just be really gentle here. So it's almost as if feather-like touch. If you were stroking a jelly, as you do, you just want to be moving the jelly so gently. You don't want to be pushing down and breaking it. Perfect. So really gently, really tenderly. Again, this soft, gentle touch is helping to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, rest, digest, and ease. And it's informing our lymph system to start working. So it's really good to come into the practice of calm. It's good for your immune system. We're going to add on. So as one hand is going to stay onto the collarbone, the other hand is going to come onto sternoclavicular. So we're going to start to pull down, sternocleidomastoid, the neck. So it's a two-hand move. If it's a little bit tricky to get the coordination, just don't think about it too much. Put your hands on and just let them move. Nice. Perfect. Let's just go for another two of these, really slow, easy, and gentle. Perfect. Final one on this side, and we go over to the other side. So find your other collarbone, and then again we start to pull down the collarbone. Really slow and gentle. Great. And again, I encourage you, close down the eyes once you know what you're doing. Hopefully you can follow my cues pretty clearly, so you can really give yourself this gentle effleurage, this gentle release into that lymphatic system. Let's add on that second hand. So as we pull down through the collarbone, the other one's going to come down the neck, come down sternocleidomastoid. However much pressure you're using in your fingertips, I want you to give me 20% less. Yeah, brilliant. I know we're all kind of desperate for tough release and we want to feel the pain of the massage, but sometimes you just need to relax. I think it's a really vital lesson for us all to learn. We're going to change the hand technique ever so slightly now. So we're going to bring our 4 fingertips, make them a little finger sandwich, and you're going to bring them down the back of the neck. So as you come down the back of the neck, if anybody's got upper tract tightness, just stick around a little bit more down the neck. Perfect. And then pull your hands back to where we started. So making a little diamond down the back of the neck and then falling into that hollow. Perfect. Just going to go for 2 more of these. Pull down the neck, fall into the hollow. Again, if you feel like you need to swallow, if you feel fluid building in the mouth, you're winning. Let's go for 1 more like this. Pull the hands down the back of the neck, falling into that hollow. Now we're going to change the technique. I want you to cross over your hands, make 2 shovels with your fingertips. We just pull down the neck. Now we can start to style up the pose. So you can either just keep going like this. If you're feeling like your neck and jaw are quite tight, you can take your chin up to the ceiling, stretch out your neck, prepare to look very attractive to the Zoom. If we all give ourselves an overbite, we can stretch out underneath the chin. And by stretching out underneath the chin, also what you're doing is starting to move fluid that could be congested in the lymph nodes that sit right at the tongue root. Lovely. Let's go for 2 more like this. Perfect. All right, we're going to take it a little bit higher now. So we're actually going to come underneath the jawbone. And here you're going to feel what that lymphatic tissue feels like. It's quite spongy. So really sensitize the fingertips. We're going to take our fingertips underneath the jaw, come all the way along. When you hit that big piece of tissue, sternocleidomastoid, pull down it. So everything we're doing comes back to these two pumping sites. So we pull those fingertips down across the jaw and then down sternoclavicular. Perfect. I'm going to take a couple more of these. And just notice here, if you do feel any of those inflamed nodes, if you feel any stagnation or feel any kind of pulling in the tissue. Great. Let's go for one more of these. Lovely. This time we're going to come in front of the ear. So I want you to stack up your index finger and your middle finger. You're just going to run it all the way up and down where your ear attaches to your face. If you've got a tight jaw, you'll probably hate this, so I apologize. See if you can let that jaw go. So we're softening into any habit of clenching the jaw. And I just want you to start moving your fingertips now around the back of the ears. So we have so many lymph nodes around the back of the ears. If anybody ever gets blocked ears, blocked ear infections, your lymphatic vulnerable place could be around the ears rather than the sinuses or anywhere else in the body. So just start to feel in, and again, just notice, where is that spongy texture underneath your fingertips? That's where you're in the lymph site. Perfect. All right, let's bring ourselves back to where we started. Stack up that finger again and just start to rub up and down the ear, softening the jaw. Perfect. Now we're going to hit the sinuses. So if anybody struggles with sinusitis or hay fever, this is where I want you to really put a pin in so we can benchmark it for later. So we're going to come down the side of the nose, across the collarbone, and I want you to loop up and over the ear, finding all those sites that you've just identified, and then pull down sternocleidomastoid. So you can take it one hand and then the other. Some people may prefer to take the skin out and the other hand follows along. Perfect. You can even add in a couple of extra swoops along sternocleidomastoid here. So you just have a play around with everything I'm offering you. And then when you feel like, I found my move, stick around. Now, this is where I'm going to start to layer up information. For those of you who've been to my workshops before, you know this language. So you're with me. For new people, I'm really quickly going to tell you that the face is a hologram for the whole body. The whole body can be treated from the face. And if I just imagine that there's a head here, my head is here, my eyebrows are representing somebody stood with their arms out wide. The nose is the back of the body. Hips are going to be around my nostrils, and my legs are going to be my nasal labial folds. So as we start to sweep our fingertips down the side of the nose, where are we actually stimulating in the holographic microsystem of the face? We're stimulating the spleen, and actually there are acupressure points on the nose for the spleen. And what is the spleen? The spleen is where the lymph begins. The spleen is where we create lymphocytes, white blood cells that fill up our lymph fluid and fight infection. Let's take it all the way to the other side now. So right in the center of the nose is where you have the site of lymph, if you were going to put an acupuncture needle in to stimulate the lymph. So we're pulling across the sinuses, and you're going to go all the way up and over the ear, and then pulling it down and around sternocleidomastoid. Again, you can find what technique works for you. You can spread the skin, the other hand follows it like traffic, or you can do one and then the other. Perfect. So really slow and gentle here, taking it up, back, and around. Feather light touch, really easy, really breezy. Perfect. Let's go for one more here, and then I'm going to start to add in a couple more pressure points. One more big swoop, take it around. Perfect. So now we're coming back to this idea of acupuncture points on the face. And I want you to find your nose right in the middle. That is where spleen would be. So we're encouraging lymph flow. We want to know where our spleen is and what it does. If you fall down from that site, you're going to come into a little bit of a hollow. If you're not sure if you've got it, have a dig around and you'll naturally fall into a little nook. Now, this is an acupuncture point called B tong, and it's fantastic for sinusitis, rhinitis, or any pressure headaches. So we're going to give ourselves a little bit of an acupressure sequence here. I want you to give me a bit of a dig in. So really put pressure in now. So we're stimulating the point. If you like a firmer pressure, stack up 2 fingers. Perfect. Nicole, I can see you're a little bit hypermobile in your fingers. So for you, stacking to protect your joint is going to be extra safe. Breathing, we're going to find some circles. This is where it becomes a bit like a horror film. Sorry about that. And then we're going to find some tapping on the point. Tapping, 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 tapping. Perfect. We're going to find another point now. So I want you to trace a line down from the iris of your eye, go over your eye socket, so the bony bit. You're going to fall into a little hollow just underneath your cheekbone. So this is a stomach point, and this is also an adrenal point. So it's really good for stress management. Give me some pressure here into the point. This is also where we have a lot of lymph nodes. And actually the lymph nodes tend to fall into the map of acupuncture where the stomach meridian is. And the stomach meridian in Chinese medicine is called the reservoir, which dumps into our colon to be eliminated. So if you're somebody that struggles with hormonal acne, usually, give me some circles here as I'm talking to you, usually it falls into the stomach meridian. So that's quite an interesting thing to think about. If our body's not eliminating, if we're not allowing our excess hormones and toxins out of the body, we get stagnation here. So find me some tapping here and just put these points at the back of your mind if you're somebody that struggles with hormonal acne. Now we're going to come into a stomach channel sweep. So the stomach channel goes all the way down from the middle of the brow, down across the point that we've just found, across the jaw where most people get hormonal acne deposits, and we're going to drain down sternocleidomastoid. So that is the stomach meridian channel and also where we have loads of lymph sites. So let's do it again. We're going to pull our fingertips down from the eyes. Again, it's a bit like a horror film. Perfect. Trace it along the jaw and then pull your hands down sternocleidomastoid. We're going to do that one more time. Pull your hands down from the eyes, pull it across the angle of the jaw. Lovely. Drag it all the way back down. We're going to go for a final one here. So down from the eyes, pulling across the jaw and down. Sternocleidomastoid, final bit of pressure point stuff. We're going to come now right to the top of the eyebrows. So in the holographic microsystem of the face, I need to find an abbreviation for that. When we start to treat the eyebrows, we're starting to treat the upper body. So if you're somebody with neck tension, this is a fantastic place for you to get familiar with. Within the theme of lymphatic drainage, where have we started to drain? The armpits. So your armpits are going to be underneath your eyebrows. So you can just start to investigate how your eyebrows feel. If you're somebody that gets sensitivity in your upper back and into your neck, I want you to really feel for any deposits of, it feels like grit or kind of graininess, sandiness. So you're just trying to feel those deposits, seek them out and destroy them. If there's anyone here who struggles with breast tenderness around their menstrual cycle, I also want to alert you to either side of the nose, right here, in the holographic microsystem of the face, this would be where the breasts are. And this is a point that is used in acupuncture to treat lymphatic problems, breast cancer, any sensitivity in the breast. So we're just going to all take a moment here just to massage out our eyebrows, giving ourselves a bit of an upper body workout. Perfect. Not an upper body workout, an upper body rub. Perfect. And for those of you who don't know my languaging around the eyebrow, right at the front of the eyebrow is going to be your shoulder. Middle of the eyebrow is going to be your elbow. Fantastic point just to stimulate if you get tennis or golfer's elbow. Right at the corner of the eyebrow is going to be your wrist. So just have a little play around here. It's your job to learn what it feels like to give your body a full body reflexology session. Perfect. Now we're just going to simply bring our hands into the middle of our forehead, pull your fingertips across the head and down through the neck. So you're really familiar with this little end point now, pulling it down and pulling it around. Perfect. Let's go for one more before we go into the beauty treatment. Pull your fingertips down and pull it around. I just want you to find your fingertips back in that hollow. So I just want you to keep reaffirming this little pump down. Again, if you need to swallow, perfect. It's my hope that by the end of this, you'll know exactly where these guys are. So whenever you're feeling puffy, you can come and give yourself a little bit of depuff. Again, if you need to clear your throat, go for it. Really soft, gentle breaths in. Hopefully, everyone's starting to feel a little bit calmer now. I feel like some of you are looking a little bit more zen. Perfect. All right. Now let's come into a little bit of a beauty treatment. So we're going to bring our fingertips underneath the angle of the jaw and move one hand along the jaw and then the other. So as we start to do this, yes, we're going to be giving ourselves a little bit of a Japanese facial lift, but I also want you to continue to open up into the armpit, roll those shoulders back and down. So we are stacking all of the bodywork therapies that we can possibly fit into an hour here. Perfect. If you like a firmer pressure, use your fingertips. So use the pads of the fingertips. If you are liking this gentle kind of meditative Tai Chi vibe, using the front of your index finger. Perfect. We're going to go one step higher now. So you're going to bring your fingertip and drag it on the angle of the jaw and release. So there we go. That's the line. And we're going to take these lines all the way up the face. Keep going. I'm going to talk at you. So I've just identified with you the stomach meridian, which comes along here. When you're taking these swoops, you're going to feel a kind of bulbous bit, a piece of tight tissue there. Usually that's where people have jaw tension. That is also an acupressure point called stomach 7. That is used a lot in facial acupuncture, cosmetic acupuncture, because it is a site of the meridian that is full of chi and blood. So if you want to get yourself a rosy complexion, go a bit harder on that. So just trying to get a bit of a change into that meridian system. Perfect. We're going to take it one step higher now. So you're going to come from the corner of the mouth all the way across the cheek towards the ear. So just start to take that line. Perfect. And all of these moves now, we've drained the lymph. So now we're building up the circulation. So you want you to go a little bit firmer here. And all of the actions are closer to God. Perfect. So lift, lift, lift. We're going to come one step higher now. So we're going to come underneath the nose, across the philtrum, underneath your cheekbone. And you can actually take your line up into your hairline if that feels good, if you like how it feels. So start to take these sweeps. Lovely. Everyone's falling into their own little version of the sequence. So that is fantastic. Just let your hands do whatever feels good. Just to reaffirm, in the holographic microsystem of the face, what we're treating here around the nose is going to be hips, lower back, and menstrual gynae problems. So your philtrum is a fantastic acupressure point if anybody's struggling with period pain or really deep lower body cramping or discomfort. And actually, if you know that you have sensitivity there, if you do struggle with those issues, really sensitize your fingertips. So you're learning how to feel your body. Around this part of the body, you may feel some of those sandy deposits. Perfect. We're going one step higher now. So I want you to come right at the corner of the nose, again in the holographic microsystem of the face. This is great for your hips. So if anyone's struggling with hip problems, just give yourself a little bit of a finger wiggle there and pull across the cheekbone. So that's the line that we're taking. Perfect. I'm sorry if I say your name completely wrong. Meda? I see those shoulders are struggling. You can give them a roll. She's saying, I can see you're struggling. So this is when we learn that massage therapists are hardcore, ladies and gentlemen. Take a break if you need. Perfect. Let's come one step higher now. So we've already found this move. We're coming down across the nose, underneath the eye, really starting to move that tissue. Lift it up now towards the hairline and swoop across. Perfect. So we've taken all of that lymph stagnation, any under eye puffiness, we've drained that. Now we want to bring blood, we want to bring nutrients and bring energy into that part of the face. Lovely. Let's take it one step higher now. You're going to come from the middle of the eyebrows up and over the eyebrow. And again, I've already mentioned this once. If anybody's struggling with any arm pain, shoulder pain, just dig around here. So you're getting curious and you're making the sequence work for your body and what you need. Perfect. A nice little extra addition. If you clump your middle finger, your ring finger, and your little finger together, then just lift the brow. That is quite a nice little lifting technique. So you can just use that, smoothing out the brow, lifting, toning, maybe bit of a brow lift. So we're just working that one side of the face. Lovely. Changing the technique. I want you to place the flat of your palm up against the head. Lovely. And again, place it up against the head. Place it up against the head. One more time, place it up against the head. We come all the way back down to where we started on the first side. So we're underneath the jaw. You're just going to start to drag your fingertips across. Again, play around here. If you found that there was quite a lot of sensitivity, quite a lot of stagnation, that dragging feeling, you can bring the pads of the fingertips in and just revisit that more lymphatic drainage. If you want to start getting the blood going, blood flowing, start to move with a little bit more intention, a little bit more oomph. And you can also, well, I can start to see everyone's looking a little bit rosier. So you're starting to see the change that you're facilitating in your own body. Let's take it one step higher now. So you're going to come onto the angle of the jaw, swoop those fingertips across. Again, everything I'm saying, I repeat, because I want you to assimilate this information. Around here, we have an acupressure point called stomach 7. Fantastic in cosmetic acupuncture for really filling the face up with chi, that vital force, that thing we felt between our hands, and blood. Lovely. And again, if you struggle with hormonal acne, you could add in a little bit of drainage here down your sternocleidomastoid towards that little notch. So you style up the treatment as you like. Perfect. Let's go one step higher now. You're going to come from across the corner of the mouth, across the cheek towards the ear. Perfect. I'm seeing quite a lot of enthusiastic thumbs, and I like that a lot, but just in case you ever train to be a therapist, keep your thumbs in towards your hand, and that is going to protect you from getting any ligament strain. Perfect. Now we've got a couple of trainee reflexologists who I'm already like, don't damage your thumbs. So it's just a really good practice. The reflexologists are laughing and smiling. Everyone else is like, what the fuck people talking about? Let's go one step higher. So you're going to come underneath the nose. Again, if you're struggling with menstrual issues, just give yourself a little bit of an explore around here and then take it into that sweep. So you're coming underneath the cheekbone, and you can use more pressure here than a facialist ever would. So if you've got quite a tight jaw, you can really dig up towards the cheekbone. Perfect. Really nice. And keep finding that roll back of the shoulder. So we're opening into that other side of the body, other side of the armpit, into all of those auxiliary nodes, which they also, if you're flipping the microsystems of the body, stretching here is going to increase lymphatic flow, blood flow in the hamstrings. So if anyone's worrying about cellulite, first of all, don't bother because we all have it, but stretching this part of the body is going to help that. Great. Let's go one step higher now. So you're going to come from the corner of the nose, and this is going to be representative of the hip and the low back. Pull across the cheekbone. Great. So just start to find that really soft, easy, gentle pull across. Feel free to take it into the hairline, especially if you're struggling with jaw tension. Oftentimes we don't even realize how much tension our scalp has to take, especially around this junction here. Perfect. All right, let's take it one step higher now. So we're coming right underneath the orbit of the eye. You might want to go a little bit slower here, just around that delicate eye area. And you can take it up into the hairline if that feels good. Perfect. Let's take it one step higher now. So you're going to come right from the middle of the eyebrow, up and over the brow. Again, you've got a couple of options here. If you're really struggling with neck tension, problems in the arm, just take a bit more time here, really dig in and explore what's happening in my body and is my face reflecting it? It's pretty cool how accurate it is. If you preferred that lifting technique, you're going to stack your middle finger, your ring finger, and your little finger, and then just pulling up. And it's really gentle pressure, as if, again, if you had a jelly, you don't want to smush it. You just want to move it slowly and gently. And that is the quality of movement that you want when you're trying to stimulate lymphatic flow. Don't forget about the corner of the eyebrow. Bring it all the way back. You can go up into the hairline as well if you like, if that feels good. And now let's find a bit of a release for the scalp. So you're going to interlace your fingertips, placing your hands onto your forehead. And this is a butterfly technique. So like the name suggests, you just start to move your fingertips like a little butterfly. Perfect. And really get the heels of your hand in. So you want to put quite a lot of elbow grease into this and start to take your butterfly up into the hairline, and then into the hair itself. Sorry if anybody's just got freshly washed hair and now they've got grease in it, but keep stimulating the scalp. If there's anybody worried about droopy, puffy eyelids, often that's a result of an overly tight scalp, weakening the contractile fibers of this muscle around the eye. So just go and give yourself a real big head rub. Also, your scalp is full of acupuncture points, so it's great for stimulation for the whole body. I think now's a timely shoulder roll time. It's a lot, isn't it? If anyone's been back at the gym, I think Lauren's been at the gym. I could just see, she's like, I've done this before. It's causing me pain. So just take a roll of those shoulders. Again, not only are we moving the shoulders, we're moving tight tissue, we're moving that upper lymphatic system. Now I'd like you to find the pads of your fingertips, place them to where we began, underneath the jaw, and we're going to take little circles up and up. So these are just teeny tiny little circles. So if you can feel any inflamed nodes, any little lumpy bumpy bits underneath the throat, go ahead and just give them a little bit of extra love. Don't forget that your neck is quite big, so take your fingertips all the way back that you can. And if you need to swallow, lovely, you're moving lymph. Perfect. You can even take it around the back of your sternocleidomastoid here if that feels good. Most people are quite tight there, so go easy. Perfect. Let's bring our fingertips onto the jaw now. And you're going to take little circles, little lifts, and moving your fingertips all the way back. You want to find that chunky bit of the cheek here, stomach 7, full of chi and blood. Great. If anyone's got the habit of jaw clenching, just notice if you're doing it right now. I see this happen. Perfect. Let's take it one step higher. So you're going to come from the corner of the mouth, just move it across the face. Really nice. Take it all the way back towards the ear, if that feels good. Really gentle, really easy pressure. Perfect. Let's come now underneath the nose to the philtrum. Take those little circles. So almost as if your circles are just knocking up against your cheekbone. Lovely. Take it all the way back across the cheekbone. Great. And let's go one step higher. So now we're on the cheekbone, moving across. If there's anybody struggling with sinus problems at the moment, you can take a moment just to add in that pressure point bitong. You find it by falling into that little dip. And any pressure points, you can just let your fingertips find them. Instinctively, your body knows where it's going. Any points along the cheekbone are always going to be fantastic for sinusitis, rhinitis. Hay fever sufferers, I see you. I'm sorry. They're digging in. Perfect. We're going to take this just 2 more times up onto the eyebrows, a little bit of a wiggle. You can give yourself a little bit of a temple massage as well if you manifest tension there. Temple headaches or headaches behind the eye are oftentimes related to the energy of the liver. And of course, we want free flow and movement, which is what's associated with the liver. So any headache here can also be indicative that your lymph isn't moving as easily as it could. So let's take those wiggles up and over the head, to the forehead, and then come back to that push of the heel of the hand up against the head, up against the head, up against the head, and up against the head. Now, this is the bit where it really does start to look like a horror film. This is my final little addition for anybody that struggles with puffiness under the eyes or sinus problems. We're going to do a bit of intraoral massage, which looks terrifying, but is very soothing. So we're going to place our thumbs into our mouth. Your fingertips are going to pull the tissue like this. Pull the tissue. Again, I'm sorry, it looks terrible, but it's really good. So you can come all the way up towards your sinuses and pull that tissue down. There you go. Don't be afraid about what it looks like. If your jaw is tight as well, IPEC's having a really good time. We've all been very bored. So this, if it makes you laugh, great. You can pull all the way from that jaw. That's fantastic at releasing the jaw. Great. So you just have a little terrifying explore of where you're holding tension in the face. Lauren, you pay about £400 in LA for this. Isn't that ridiculous? You can do it for free anytime now. So when you start to feel any stagnation, get stuck in, really move through the fingers. Lovely. And again, I just want to alert, Dory's dribbling. I want to alert the sinus people to really pull down where you just found. Great. Just to reaffirm, anybody with menstrual gynae problems, this piece of tissue here, if you can attack it from the inside, it's gonna be more painful. It's really good. Victoria's having a slobber as well. This is my life now. Perfect. Let's go for a final bit. Amazing. Nitu's nice and rosy. Go on, Susie, get stuck in. You can go a bit more welly than that. Great. All right. Let's just wipe our thumbs down. Perfect. Has everybody got a gua sha or a facial tool with them? Perfect. Lovely. Any spoon people? No? Yes, the spoon. Great. Spoons are actually fantastic. So all we're going to do is take our gua sha. We're following the line of lymphatic drainage, pulling down the neck. So with the spoon, you simply turn it curved side up and drag it down the neck. The spoons were perfect. You've got it. Or you could use that sharp edge, Lauren. Perfect. That's it. Yeah, use that. So spoons were actually the first gua shas. So you're just doing the more authentic traditional Chinese medicine version, actually. Great. You can pull it all around the back of the neck. So if you're working with a spoon, you're just going to work to pull down through the whole of the neck. You can focus on sternocleidomastoid. If there's gua sha people with that little bit of a nick, you can use the nick in the tool to pull down that big piece of neck tissue, sternocleidomastoid. If your neck is feeling super tight, I also invite you to take that little nick in the tool, place it around your vertebrae of the back of the neck. You can lean your head against it and actually flip the tool so it's like 45 degrees, and that can be quite a nice little release. You can take it right up to the bulbous part of your head, so that's your occipital ridge. Take it right up there and give it a bit of a wiggle. So I'm just offering up loads of different things. You make the treatment work for you. You can keep finding that pulling down that sternoclavicular. If you've got the spoon, it's doing exactly the same thing. Perfect. We're going to come a little bit higher. So we're going to take our tool, spoon or gua sha. We're going to pull it along the jaw. Now you may just want to pull the tool across, or you may want to use your fingertips to spread the skin to take it. Great. So just find what works for you. If you have a tight jaw, maybe stick around and just stay with this. Perfect. IPEC, if you use the sharp end of the spoon, does that make any sense? So, damn, I don't have a spoon here. Look at Lauren. Lauren's got the spoon, sharp end. So you're using it almost to scoop the tissue. There you go. If you turn the spoon straight up and then just use it across, I'll flip it over, other way. There you go, you've got it. Perfect. And then we can actually add on that pull down from sternocleidomastoid. So this little sequence here is great for any buildup of hormonal acne within the stomach meridian. Again, in TCM, the stomach meridian acts as a reservoir for anything that the body's waiting to eliminate out of the colon. So that's just a really nice little practice to get into. Perfect. Take it one step higher now. So you're going to come across the corner of the mouth and just pull across the face. Pull across the face. Lovely. And this is quite nice just to lean your head against the tool. Great. And we can take it one step higher. So you're going to come across the cheekbone. If there are gua sha people, if you turn it kind of shark fin down and you can pull it across, that's it. You've got it. Lovely. So you can pull it across here. You can use that little nick over the cheekbone. And if the jaw is tight, give it a little bit of a wiggle when you get towards the temple. Yeah, and then you can lean your head against your hand. Spoon people, you're doing exactly the same thing. You just can't give yourself the satisfying little temple wiggle at the side. Great. Let's go for just a few more here. And let's take it up and over the eyebrow. So spoon people, actually, you have something quite wonderful to do. If you use the curve end of the spoon, go up the head, like we did. That's it. Perfect. Ipex got it. Lauren's got it. That's it. That is quite delightful. Gua sha people, you can push up against the brow and you can use that nick to find a little bit of eyebrow stimulation. So you can come all the way across the brow. Also, if anybody's feeling like they're getting quite puffy under the eyes, you can use your tool, pop it in the fridge, just place it underneath the eyes. Let me save you 15 quid. If anyone's worried about dark circles, first of all, go to bed early. That'll sort it out. But Arnica is the very cheap D eye bag cream because it brings out bruising. So if you are looking for an under eye cream, it's about £3 and it actually works. And it's not full of nasties. So there we go. Lovely. Let's just give a final little push up against the forehead. If there's anybody concerned about forehead wrinkles, first of all, in Chinese face reading, forehead wrinkles are considered the lessons learned in your 20s. So we really should celebrate them. But if you take little circles, little zigzags, you're confusing the contractile fiber of the face. And that starts to change the way that the wrinkles are looking a little bit. It's not Botox, I'm afraid. But we should love our lines. Perfect. Let's take it all on the other side. So coming across the angle of the jaw, taking those swoops. Again, you can just take the tool in isolation. You can clear the way with your other hand and pull it across. If you've got a tight jaw, I invite you just to stick around into that tight bit. If you've got hormonal acne, I invite you to add in that bit of drainage down sternocleidomastoid. So find what feels good and play around with the things that you like and that you can add into your routine. Perfect. Great. Okay, let's take it one step higher now. So we're going to come across from the corner of the mouth towards the ear. And again, now we're cooking on gas. We kind of know what we're working with. Finding what feels good. Perfect. All right, let's take it across the cheek now. So taking the gua sha across the cheek. I forgot to say, again, just to reaffirm, anybody struggling with gynae issues, this part of the face is so brilliant to treat for that. And you can use your tool or your spoon just for a little bit of stimulation. And you might feel, everyone's like, right, let's get into that bit. You might actually feel, it feels almost like grit. And you can feel a little bit of resistance like you would if you were rolling your shoulders. So that is breaking up all kinds of tension that is manifesting in the body. Perfect. Great. Take a couple more of these. Again, it looks super nice on Zoom. And then let's find ourselves back onto our cheekbones. Again, spoon people, you're just rocking your spoon. Gua sha people, find that little nick and you're going to pull across the cheekbone if you like that. Again, sinus people, really get your tool close to your nose. So If you are somebody that struggles with congestion here, this becomes less of a sexy, quiet beauty regime, and you're using your shul for what it, your facial tool for what it was meant for, and that's breaking up stagnation, breaking up deposits. So put a bit of elbow grease in there. It might be quite sensitive, might be quite tender, that's fine. And if you like it, you can find your gua sha on your cheekbone and just give yourself a little bit of a wiggle here. Lovely. Let's come up on the forehead. So we've done this on one side. You find what feels good. Spoon people, turn the curved end towards me and lift up. Feels great. Gua sha, folks. We can just drag that tool across the eyebrow, lift up, or again, if there is an offensive lesson that you learned in your 20s that's there for the world to see and celebrate, give it a bit of oomph, zigzags and circles. Great. All right. Let's just give ourselves a little wipe down. First of all, just take a quick look at yourself. Look how rosy and gorgeous you all are, even more gorgeous than you all are. For the final time, we're going to come through that sequence. So if there's anything that you've learned through the past 57 minutes, I want it to be this. If you're going to do anything for your lymphatic system in your upper body, this is it. Finding that little junction between sternocleidomastoid and your collarbone, take those little pumps. Again, if you're feeling that you need to have a bit of lymphatic drainage, but you're not in a position to be able to do this, look for parts of the body that look like this. The webbing between your thumb and your first finger, that is a pressure point that you can use, or you can use the junction, the webbing between your big toe and your second toe. Hopefully you're feeling like you need to swallow, and it might be a little bit less than it was when we first started. Think about hooking in and down, rather than just poking at the skin. In and down, that's it. Lovely. Let's bring our hands, sweep them down the neck. Down the neck. So you're just following sternocleidomastoid. Great. Let's do live long and prosper fingertips. So you find Spock hands, I think it's Spock, and then up and down the ears. And let your jaw go here as well. Try and get an extra little bit of jaw release. Great, really nice. Perfect. Back to the way we came. We're going to bring our hands either side of the neck. Just take it down really gentle. And again, feather light touch. So we've gone for that manual circulation boost. Now let's come to that lymphatic, soft, gentle, really easy breezy, calming. Perfect. Really nice. I'd like to take your hands across one another and let's just find that real gentle pull down. If you liked how it felt to stretch out through the neck, give yourself an overbite. It doesn't look great, but it's a nice release. You're stimulating all of those lymph nodes under the jaw. Perfect. Lovely. Bring yourself back. We're going to give ourselves a couple more pumps here into the clavicular joint. Just give yourself a couple of pumps there. Take a final little swallow. Let's place one hand to our heart space, one hand on top. If you vibe with closing down your eyes, get them closed. If that's not your bag, just a soft gaze in front of you. Just taking a moment to breathe into all of that space that you've just made, not only for your body, your lymph system, but also your mind. Hopefully now you're feeling the restorative effects of not only moving that lymphatic system, which in turn stimulates the parasympathetic system, but more importantly, you've carved out an hour of your day to spend some time with yourself. So just take a really deep breath in here, knowing that your immune system can only function optimally when you are calm, cool, and collected. Thank you so much for joining me. Take care. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. If anyone's got any questions, stick around. Great to meet new faces and have some old pals in. So thanks so much, everyone.